Close your eyes now and let yourself drift. Drift away from the weight of the day, from every worry and thought that no longer serves you. Tonight, we're going on a journey together. A slow, gentle journey through the vast ocean of space. Imagine yourself floating, weightless and safe, in a vessel made of starlight and dreams. There's no sound here except the soft whisper of my voice, guiding you deeper into rest. Your breathing slows, your muscles release, and together we begin to move. We're leaving Earth now, so gently you barely notice. Below you, the blue marble grows smaller, the continents and oceans blending into a soft glow of blues and whites and greens. All of humanity, all of history, contained in that beautiful sphere. You watch it fade to a point of light behind you as you drift forward into the velvet darkness, surrounded by stars that have watched over sleeping souls for billions of years. And now, ahead of you, the first world appears. Mercury, the smallest wanderer, the swift messenger of the ancient sky. Mercury approaches slowly, so slowly, growing from a distant star to a grey pearl suspended in the darkness. There's something ancient about this place, something timeless. This tiny world has been dancing close to the sun since the very beginning, since before Earth had oceans, since before the first breath was drawn. As you drift closer, you notice the surface, cratered and weathered by billions of years. Each crater tells a story, impacts from when the solar system was young and wild. The surface is silver-grey, dusted with the finest particles, like ash from a long-extinguished fire. You float over the terminator line now, that boundary between Mercury's long day and longer night. On one side, the surface bakes under the sun's intense stare. But here, in this eternal twilight, there's a strange peace. The shadows are deep and soft, and you follow them, gliding over ancient cliffs and smooth plains. There's no air here, no wind, no weather to reshape the land. Every scar, solar system, every mark remains exactly and as you pass over its surface, billions of years you feel yourself becoming it's a museum of time, slow, silent witness to the part of the eternal drift of worlds through space. Mercury begins to fall away behind you now, shrinking back to a point of light. You've honored the first world with your presence, and now you move on, deeper into the solar system, deeper into rest. The next world rises before you like a pearl, like a luminous dream. Venus, the morning star, the evening star, wrapped in clouds as thick as ocean waters. Venus glows with a soft, golden white light, serene and beautiful from a distance. The ancient ones called her the goddess of love, and watching her now, you understand why. She's radiant, peaceful, hypnotic. Her clouds swirl in slow, elegant patterns, spiral storms that take 4 days to circle the entire world. You descend now, slowly, gently, into those cloud layers. The first wisps are thin, like morning mist in a distant valley. They part around you as you sink deeper, deeper into Venus's atmosphere. The light changes, becomes diffuse, like being underwater in a warm, golden sea. Everything here is soft, muted, dreamlike. You're suspended in layers of clouds that stretch forever in every direction. Sulfur compounds catch the sunlight and scatter it into these warm, amber tones, like honey, like the last light of sunset that never ends. Deeper still, and you can sense the surface far below, hidden beneath these eternal clouds. Down there, plains of ancient lava stretch for thousands of miles, and the pressure would crush anything solid. But you remain here, in this middle realm, floating in the clouds, suspended in amber light, breathing slowly, deeply, sinking into the most profound relaxation. The clouds embrace you like soft blankets, layer upon layer of warmth and gentle pressure. You could stay here forever, drifting in Venus's golden dreams. Time means nothing in this place. There's only the slow swirl of clouds, the warm light, and the deep, deep peace that settles over you like evening falling on a quiet world. But eventually, gently, you begin to rise, up through the cloud layers. each one lighter than the last, until you emerge once more into the black velvet of space. Venus falls away below you, still glowing, still serene, and you carry some of her peace with you as you journey on. And now, home appears in the distance. Earth, the blue jewel, rising like a beacon in the darkness. But we're not stopping. The moon grows before you. You've left that world behind for these few hours. You've seen her face in the night sky. Instead, we're visiting her companion. But now you're here, her eternal drifting down to her cosmic dance, seeing her as few have ever seen her. You descend toward the sea of tranquility, that smooth, dark plain where humanity first touched another world. The surface is soft grey dust, fine as flour, undisturbed except where boots once walked. Those footprints remain exactly as they were left, preserved in the airless silence, and they'll remain for millions of years. You settle gently onto the lunar surface, and the silence is complete. There's no sound, not even the whisper of your own breath, just pure, absolute quiet. It's the silence of deep space, the silence of meditation, the silence of perfect rest. Above you, Earth hangs in the black sky, a blue and white marble, 4 times larger than the moon you see from Earth. You watch the clouds swirl slowly over the oceans. Watch the continents drift by as Earth rotates. From here, all the noise and chaos of that world is invisible. There's only beauty, only the slow turn of a living planet in the cosmic night. You lie back on the lunar dust, and it's surprisingly comfortable, like the softest bed you've ever known. The dust conforms to your body, supports you perfectly, and you gaze up at Earth, at home, and feel completely at peace. You're far enough to have perspective, close enough to never feel lost. The stars will slowly overhead, the same stars that have watched over Earth for billions of years. Orion, the Pleiades, the Milky Way stretching across the sky like a river of diamonds. And Earth, always Earth, hanging there like a beacon, like a promise that you're never truly alone. You rest here now, on this ancient, quiet world, breathing slowly, deeply, letting go of everything except this moment, this perfect, silent moment on the moon. When you're ready, and there's no hurry, you lift gently from the lunar surface and continue outward. The next world awaits. Mars, the red wanderer, the rusty desert in the sky. Mars appears as a rust-red star that grows and grows, revealing itself in shades of ochre and sienna and burnt orange. This is a world of dust and stone, of ancient river valleys and frozen poles, a world that once might have been like Earth. You descend through the thin, cold atmosphere, barely there at all, and the surface rises to meet you. You're approaching Valles Marineris, the greatest canyon in the solar system. A scar across Mars that makes Earth's Grand Canyon look like a scratch. You drift into the canyon, and the walls rise around you like red cathedrals. The stone is layered, striated with different shades, each layer a chapter in Mars's long history. The light here is softer than geology, lay bare in these because Mars orbits far. The canyon stretches for thousands Everything of miles. has a gentle, dusty deeper quality, than the deepest ocean, like an old trench photograph, like a memory of summer long ago. The sky above is butterscotch, pale orange-pink, and the sun is smaller than you're used to. You follow the canyon floor, floating just above the ancient dust. Here and there, you see signs of Mars's past, dried stream beds where water once flowed, minerals that only form in the presence of water, echoes of a time when Mars was younger and warmer and wet. There's a melancholy beauty to this place, a quiet sadness, but also a deep peace. Mars has accepted what it is, a cold desert world circling the sun in patient silence. It doesn't struggle or resist, it simply is. You rise up from the canyon and drift over the vast plains of Amazonas, smooth, dusty, endless. The horizon is closer here than on Earth. You can see the curve of the planet, and in the distance, the great volcanoes rise. Olympus Mons, the tallest mountain in the solar system, extinct now for hundreds of millions of years. Everything here is still, silent, patient. Dust devils dance across the plains occasionally, small whirlwinds that leave dark tracks. But mostly Mars is motionless, waiting, dreaming its long, cold dreams. And you drift with it, matching its patience, its stillness, letting yourself become as quiet as this ancient red world, as peaceful as the dust that covers its sleeping face. Now we travel far, far from the inner worlds, across the asteroid belt, across the Great Divide, to the realm of giants. And what a giant awaits! Jupiter, the king of planets, massive beyond imagination, appearing now as a striped beacon in the darkness. Jupiter grows, and the scale becomes overwhelming. This world is larger than all the other planets combined, a gas giant so vast that Earth could fit inside it 1,000 times over. But there's no fear, only awe, only wonder at the magnificent creation before you. The colors are extraordinary, bands of cream and ochre and sienna and rust, swirling in eternal storms. Each band is a jet stream, winds screaming at hundreds of miles per hour. But from here, floating peacefully in space, they seem to move in slow motion, like rivers of cream and caramel flowing around the planet. And there it is, the great red spot, a storm larger than Earth, a hurricane that has raged for centuries, perhaps for millennia. It turns slowly in Jupiter's atmosphere, a vast ellipse of salmon pink and deep rust, beautiful and terrible and ancient. You drift closer, down into Jupiter's upper atmosphere, and the clouds embrace you. Here the air is hydrogen and helium, the same elements that make stars, and you float through them like floating through a cosmic ocean. The clouds are thick and soft, and the colors are even more vivid up close. Lightning flashes in the distance, bolts more powerful than anything on Earth, illuminating cloud towers the size of continents. Thunder rolls, deep and resonant, like the planet itself breathing. You're inside a living storm system, a weather engine that has no land to slow it, no mountains to break its power, only endless atmosphere forever. You rise and fall on currents of gas, warm up drafts and cool down drafts, rocking gently like a boat on a calm sea. The motion is soothing, hypnotic, and you surrender to it completely. Jupiter carries you now, supports you, and you trust this giant world to keep you safe. Above, we'll visit them through gaps in the clouds. For now, you can sometimes glimpse the stars in Jupiter's clouds, moons, rocking gently in the upper atmosphere of the king of planets, breathing slowly, for worlds unto themselves, feeling smaller than you've around their giant parent. And somehow, paradoxically, that makes you feel safe, held, part of something so much larger than yourself. When you finally leave Jupiter behind, and it takes a long time for that giant world to shrink away, you journey onward, farther into the outer solar system, toward the jewel of the heavens, Saturn. Saturn appears first as a bright star, then as an elongated glow, and then the rings reveal themselves, and your breath catches, because nothing in the solar system is more beautiful than this. The rings are impossible, delicate, exquisite. They shouldn't exist. They're too thin, too fragile, too perfect. And yet there they are, bands of ice and rock just meters thick in places, stretching hundreds of thousands of miles across. They catch the distant sunlight and glow like a halo, like a crown of diamonds on this golden giant. Saturn itself is pale gold, butterscotch, softer and subtler than Jupiter. The bands are there, the same eternal winds, but gentler, more subdued. Saturn is the serene one, the peaceful giant, decorated with the most magnificent ornament in creation. You descend toward the rings, and as you do, they begin to separate into hundreds, thousands of individual ringlets. Each one is a stream of particles, chunks of ice from the size of dust grains to the size of houses, all orbiting Saturn in perfect formation. You pass through a gap, the Cassini division, a dark space between major rings, and then you're among them. The ice particles drift past you, tumbling slowly, each one catching the light, sparkling. It's like flying through a snowstorm, except the snowflakes are boulders, And they never fall. They just orbit, forever. The silence here is profound. The particles don't collide, or when they do, it's too gentle to hear. You're surrounded by a river of ice, flowing around Saturn, and you flow with it. You become part of the ring system. Through the gaps in the rings,
another particle
you can see Saturn below, massive
orbiting,
and serene, and beyond it, the stars, and beyond them, the infinite depth of space. You're cradled here, suspended between the planet and the heavens, held by gravity, held by the beauty of this place. You could stay here forever, orbiting Saturn in its rings, part of the most beautiful structure in the solar system. Time means nothing here. There's only the slow orbit, the gentle drift of ice particles, the golden glow of Saturn, and the deep, deep peace that comes from being exactly where you belong. But the journey continues, because there are wonders yet to see, worlds at the edge of the sun's realm, where the light grows dim and the cold deepens, but where beauty still persists. Uranus appears ahead, and it's strange, because it's tilted on its side. Where other planets spin like tops, Uranus rolls like a ball, its poles pointing toward the sun. It's the rebel, the different one, pale blue-green and smooth, with faint rings you can barely see. The color is extraordinary, aquamarine, turquoise, like a frozen ocean suspended in space. The color comes from methane in its atmosphere, which absorbs red light and reflects blue and green. It's cold here, unimaginably cold, but the beauty is undeniable. You descend into Uranus's atmosphere, into those pale blue clouds, and everything becomes soft and diffuse. The light is dim, the sun just a bright star now, but there's enough illumination to see the endless layers of haze, the subtle gradations of blue and green. It's quieter here than anywhere you've been, more remote, more isolated. Uranus is so far from Earth, so far from everything, that you feel like you've traveled to the edge of the world. But there's comfort in that distance, in being so far from everything that nothing can reach you. Nothing can disturb your rest. You float through clouds of hydrogen and helium and methane, through a sky that has no land below it. Only more and more atmosphere, compressed tighter and tighter until it becomes ocean, and then ice, and then, at the core, perhaps rock and metal. But you'll never go that deep. You stay here, in the upper reaches, in the pale blue silence. The wind is strong here, hurricane-force winds that circle the planet. But they're so steady, so constant, that floating in them feels like floating in still air. You're carried along, circling this tilted world, seeing first one pole, then the equator, then the other pole, as Uranus slowly rolls beneath you. Time stretches here. One day on Uranus lasts about 17 Earth hours, but each pole sees 42 years of continuous sunlight, followed by 42 years of continuous darkness. Right now, you're in the twilight zone, neither day nor night, just eternal blue dusk. And you rest here, in this remote, quiet place, far from everything, surrounded by layers of soft, blue clouds, breathing slowly, deeply, surrendering to the stillness. Neptune appears as a vivid blue star. There's one more darker and richer than Uranus. One final stop on our journey, blue sapphire, the last planet, the color of deep, the most distant. As you approach, you can see cloud features at the edge of the sun's white wisps and streaks, storms that race around the planet at supersonic speeds. This far from the sun, you'd expect Neptune to be dead, frozen, quiet. But Neptune is alive, more active than Uranus despite being farther and colder. Massive storms rage in its atmosphere. The fastest winds in the solar system howl through its clouds. And there's an energy here, a vitality, that seems impossible at such distance from the sun's warmth. You descend into those deep blue clouds, and the color is overwhelming, rich and saturated and beautiful. It's like diving into sapphire, like swimming through liquid blue. The color comes from methane, like on Uranus, but here it's deeper, more intense. The winds carry you, fierce and fast, but you're safe in your vessel of dreams. You race around Neptune, across storms and clear patches, over dark spots and bright companion clouds, experiencing the raw power of this distant giant. But despite the violence of the winds, despite the cold and the darkness, there's something majestic here. Neptune is defiant, refusing to be dead despite its exile at the solar system's edge. It generates more heat than it receives from the sun, warming itself from within, keeping its atmosphere active and dynamic. You rise above the clouds now, up into space, and you can see Neptune below you in all its glory. The deep blue sphere, the racing clouds, and around it, dark rings of dust, and several moons, including Triton, captured from the Kuiper belt beyond, orbiting backwards around its adopted parent. You're at the edge now, the edge of the planetary system, the edge of what most humans consider the solar system. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper belt, and beyond that, the Oort cloud, and beyond that, the vast emptiness between stars. But you don't need to go farther. You've seen enough. You've journeyed from Mercury to Neptune, from the sun's doorstep to its outermost realm, and you've witnessed the extraordinary variety and beauty of our solar system. Now we turn, gently, and begin the long journey home. There's no hurry. We'll take our time, drifting back through the darkness, back toward the warmth of the inner solar system, back to Earth. The planets fall away behind you. Neptune, Uranus, Saturn with its glorious rings, Jupiter the giant, Mars the red wanderer, Venus wrapped in clouds, Mercury hugging the sun, and ahead, growing brighter, growing larger, the blue marble, Earth home. But you're not quite ready to return. You're so relaxed now, so deeply at peace, that you simply float in space between worlds, suspended in the darkness, cradled by gravity and momentum, watching Earth slowly grow before you. The stars will overhead, the same stars that have guided travelers for millennia, the same stars that watch the planets form from clouds of dust and gas, the same stars that will shine long after humanity is gone. And you're part of that story, part of the great cosmic story, a tiny piece of the universe that can look at itself and marvel. Your breathing is slow now, deep and regular, like the tide on a quiet shore. Your body is completely relaxed, every muscle loose and soft. Your mind is quieted, the constant chatter silenced, leaving only peace, only the gentle drift through space, only this moment of perfect rest. Earth grows closer. You can see the continents now, the familiar shapes, home. But you're not quite there yet. You float in orbit, circling the planet slowly, watching the Terminator line sweep across the surface, watching cities light up like constellations as night falls, watching the aurora shimmer at the poles. And you realize something. You realize that you've carried a piece of each world back with you. Mercury's patience, Venus's serenity, the moon's silence, Mars's quiet dignity, Jupiter's power, Saturn's beauty, Uranus's peace, Neptune's vitality. All of it is inside you now, part of you, gifts from the solar system. You begin your descent now, slowly, gently, through the thin outer atmosphere, then thicker, warmer. The stars begin to fade as the sky brightens, but you're not sad to leave them. You'll see them again. They're always there, always waiting. Down through clouds, soft and white and welcoming. Down through the familiar air, past birds on the wing, past mountains and forests and oceans. And then, gently, so gently you barely notice, you return to your body, to your bed, to this room, to this moment. But you're different now. You've journeyed farther than most people ever will. You've seen wonders beyond imagination, and you've found a peace that stretches from here to Neptune and back. Your body is heavy now, pleasantly heavy, sinking into the mattress, into sleep. Your breathing continues its slow, steady rhythm. In, out, like the orbits of planets, eternal and peaceful. The solar system continues its dance without you. The planets circle the sun. The moons circle the planets. The stars will overhead, and you rest, deeply, completely, held by Earth's gravity, cradled by the cosmos, safe, peaceful, home. Sleep now, sleep deeply, and know that whenever you need to, you can return to this journey. Drift once more through the solar system. Visit these distant worlds, and find again this profound peace that lives in the space between worlds, in the silence between stars, in the quiet place within yourself. Sleep, sleep, and let the solar system watch over your dreams. Good night, beautiful scholars.